glove. Good morning. Just making my way out to winter camp. I just had one heck of a ride down this old overgrown logging trail. I knew it was going to be hard packed with skidoo tracks today, so brought up my sled. I'm going to ditch my sled and keep going. I just made it out to my winter camp, and one of the first priorities was to build a cooking tripod. But I'm just thinking about maybe using this burlap chair instead of going to find wood. You can see that squirrels or some animal chewed up my burlap, so this will make some good tinder anyways. That's the firewood I've collected so far. This is all for my outside fire, just for cooking, relaxing. And the longer I'm in this area, the further and further out I have to go to collect firewood. You can see there's nothing but steep hills all around, and all the good firewood is up that hill. Stopping for a little snack of smoked oysters. And if there's enough oil left in this can, afterwards I'll use it as a oil lamp. So here's the wood I cut up for my outside fire. I only cut them up into 6-foot lengths, because I'm not cutting it up for a stove or anything like that. 8 feet long, that's good enough. And they're all on average about 3-inch diameter. And each piece here gives you about a half hour worth of a fire, assuming it's a small cooking fire. So that's a half hour. And that's how I calculate how long this fire will last, roughly. That 4-foot crosscut saw, best thing I ever did was to find that at a farmer's market, clean it up, learn how to sharpen it. There's my little oil lamp. Started out as a can of oysters. Saved the oil. This is just a little strip of some jeans I got for a wick. And this lamp will burn as long as there's oil in there. And then once this can is done, I could collect some pine sap and make a little torch. Say I had to wander off through the woods in the dark, I can have a little torch. 3 o'clock and I'm done collecting firewood. Sun's starting to go down. Within a couple hours it's going to be pitch black, maybe sooner. So I got some kindling, some small diameter wood to get my fire started. Got a little bit of birch bark over there. This is all for my outside fire. Like I said in past videos, any chores that you have to wander away from camp, try to do those first. Save the camp chores for later. I got some more wood over there for my stove inside. I got lots of wood inside for my stove, so I'm basically all caught up on my chores. So right now I'm just working on my bed. This freestanding hammock has been outside for quite a few months now, so what I've done is run some heavy-duty cordage underneath for extra support. This thing's rated for 250 pounds. Me plus all my clothing, might be pushing it by now. This is what I'm calling my bedroll. It is basically from some cushions from a lounge chair, outside lounge chair that I brought out a few months ago. That's my bed. I gotta put the door on my stove yet. The door has a bit of paint on it I have to burn off. There's all my firewood. I should be set. Another thing I'm doing right now is just wiring up this baffle inside my stove. What it does is it helps protect the top of the stove from the flame. That metal there is probably twice as thick as this stove. So I'll just make the stove last a little bit longer. It's almost 7:30 and you can see I barely touched this firewood at all. And I just got a really low fire going. That's why I'm not burning through the firewood. Got my beef tongue cooking away. Smells good, but it's a long way from being done. My shelter's all ready to go. You can see my mylar blanket hanging up in the back. Stovepipe is on. The door I put back on. You can see my little pigtail handle I made. That little oil lamp that I made from that Oyster can, still going. It's been over an hour. I have my snow on the floor. What this does is it keeps the ground wet, so in case a spark flies or falls on the ground, it's not going to ignite the ground. There's my wood pile right by my head, so all I got to do is reach over, stoke the fire. So I'm going to take that pot outside and start melting snow to refill my water can. There, it's time to light the stove. Make sure everything's going to work good. There, my supper is finally ready. Some homemade stuffing, beef tongue, mashed potatoes. I used the water left over from the beef tongue to rehydrate these instant mashed potatoes. They're really good. And I know a lot of you probably think that beef tongue looks gross, but it tastes really good. Took a long time to cook it though. So my oil lamp has gone out. So I lit a candle. It's a candle I brought out about a month or two ago. Fire's stoked. I got my door shut for the night. I got a little crack. Ventilation, of course, there's pretty good ventilation through the stove jack. And I have a little opening over there open as well. We've had lots of snow, wind, rain, minus 30, and it seems fine. I've got the fire roasting in here now. Got my vents opened up. And what I'll probably do today is fix up the shelter, tidy up in here. So I just made it out to my shelter. I built this about a couple months ago now. I just came out to see if it was still here. Apparently nobody found it except for some coyotes and squirrels. And I thought, I was out here last week. I had started a teepee frame with 11 trees. I'd estimated that it would take about 35 trees, plus all the scraps, to completely fill this in. I have my snowshoes there for a temporary door. I'd still have to make a door, still have to make a bed. Here's a look at my day shelter. It's actually not too bad for a few hours work. It's not a survival shelter, it's just a day shelter. It would need a lot more materials, a lot more insulation. It's about 5:15. I figured I'd check in since I got up. I've been having a pretty good sleep so far. Been up every hour and a half restoking the fire. It's about 8:45 a.m. right now, and I've been trying to send some text just to let people know I'm okay, and they won't send. So I'm gonna have to get packed up and travel maybe to higher ground and try to send some more text. If not, if they don't send, I'll just have to start walking. I just did a real quick cleanup of camp, and I have to get moving, move to higher ground, see if I can send a text. And while I'm on my way back, I will check on my trail cam quickly and start walking. Walking, guys. The one and only time I needed my phone and it doesn't work. My texts aren't being sent. So this no way to tell my wife I'm ready to be picked up, which sucks.